Alabama first and 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer, and you were playing fullback up there. And I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. And you could pick up, you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to take it, and I learned that first thing back to biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. The Martin Houston Show live fan page on Facebook and on YouTube. We're live and local and got things rolling on this beautiful Friday morning, reminding you that this is the day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. We got a great show lined up today. You got a special treat for myself, and hopefully you will enjoy it as well as my son, Xavier Houston. Sports Podcast will be joining us today. Good morning, Xavier. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. Doing good. Glad to be back.
Glad to be back. Glad to have you back. So looking forward to a great show. God's really blessed, and as I encourage everyone, make this a day that you go out and be the difference. So when we get out there, make sure you go do that. But so glad to have you with me. How are things down in your neck of the woods, as they say, because you're down in Miami territory. So how has the week been as a follow-up to Alabama destroying Miami this past weekend?
Well, it's a little different now. Tuscaloosa is a college football town. Down here, it's a little bit more diluted. I'm about 35 minutes north of Miami, but you have the Dolphins, you have the Hurricanes, you have the Marlins, you have all these other teams, professional level teams that pull away a little bit from that college atmosphere down here. So I haven't had it too bad, but I'm in a fantasy football league with a bunch of Miami Hurricane fans. And Saturday was fun.
Yeah, I bet it was. Well, we're going to get things.
We're going to get things going on the Martin Houston Show with Xavier Houston. Xavier, you are here to bring us some X's and O's this morning. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Dig a little bit into the game plan for tomorrow and what I expect to see from certain players.
All right. So let's get things going. Let's review quickly last week. What were your thoughts on the debut of Alabama's latest quarterback, Bryce Young?
Man, he looked phenomenal. He definitely lived up to the hype. His ability to move in the pocket while continuously looking downfield was really good. I kind of wish he would take off a little bit more, but he did make a lot of great decisions with quick dump off, a little flip out to Mcclellan. He looked solid, set records for most passing yards and most touchdowns in the first year start. So it's exciting to see what the future is with Bryce.
Yeah, Bryce Young definitely lived up to the hype. As far as the O-line, it was a little different starting unit than we were expecting with the Darren Dalcourt starting at center, Chris Owens kicking out. But overall, a little movement there. What's your thoughts in terms of the O-line, and will we see a different starting unit tomorrow?
They were very solid overall. It was shocking to see Owens out at right tackle because we were all expecting, Kendall Randolph, if he was healthy, potentially 5-star true freshman J.C. Latham or Damian George, the big mammoth out of Texas. But, Chris did a very good job at the right tackle position. It's something that he's done in the past when Evan Neal missed the game last year. So it was solid, but who knows? We'll have to see what the camaraderie and how this line gels throughout the season.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, local kid, 6-year player finally gets his chance to be the man in Brian Robinson, and he finally gets to start. So, what was your assessment of him and his performance, and then a breakdown of the running back room?
Brian did very well. His ability to he's a hard-nosed runner. I can't tell you the last time I really remember seeing the guy at Alabama run the ball as hard as he does. He's going to keep his feet moving. He's a powerful back. I'd like to see him be a little bit better in space. A couple times he got ankle tackled on what could have potentially been a big play, but he had a very solid day for his first start. When you look at the other guys, Jace McClellan, he seems to be that third down specialist back who's going to catch passes out of the backfield, be the big play threat for the running back room. But I think he did a very solid job in his first real game action. And then, of course, the amazing story about Trey Sanders coming back from 2 back-to-back season injuries, fractured pelvis and other fractures throughout his leg. For him to come back, get his first career touchdown, that was a pretty special moment. And I like Roydell. He fumbled, but he made the great play to take the ball back from the Miami defender. My grandma gave me that chain reference from Friday. Seeing that get snatched away from them.
Yeah, that was. If you're an Alabama fan, that would be a good moment when the Miami guy was on the sideline with his chain around his neck, his turnover chain. It'd be bad if you're a Miami player, and if that was you, that was ugly. If that was you with the chain around your neck, that'll probably be a meme before long if it's not already one. Yeah, so
they got the Michael Jordan face on them.
But last night, 2 things you mentioned in the running back room, and Saban talked about them a little bit last night on Hey Coach. And number one was he said they have got to do something about Roydell's avoidance. I thought that was an interesting term that Saban used, but he said we have got to get him, where he avoids, and you said it, where he's a little better in space. So because he was literally a couple times from taking off and having some nice runs. So it'll be important. I agree with you there. And then he talked about Roydell. He said it's something, if Roydell can't fix it, it's going to hurt him really bad. He runs with the ball low. You hear coaches say high and tight. Of course, high and tight was not the way I was taught to run the ball. I was taught to have 5 points of pressure. Your index finger and the finger beside it, your thumb, your pinky, and then into the crest of your elbow. Actually, it was 6, and then up against your body. But he runs with it low, and so when he gets hit, his arm rolls. And so
he did that in high school.
Yeah.
A couple times I got to see him play against Simeon. He was a big play guy in high school, so he never had a lot of contact up close. But the high and tight thing really comes from right when I was in the high school with Tiki Barnes.
Yep.
He had the fumbling problem, and he started running with the ball high and tight to his body.
Yeah.
So I think that's where that phrase became popular.
Yeah, and so Saban says they worked on it. They thought they had it fixed, but the first carry he got in true action, he fumbled. So, interestingly enough, I thought it was interesting that he came in before Trey, as far as in the rotation. But that could be just a matter of time because Trey has had the least time back out on the field. So
and he's not 100% from what I've heard.
Yeah, and so and that's what I was meaning. He's slowly working himself fully back into action. He showed a lot of escapability and smoothness when he ran the ball. So it'd be interesting to see where he works himself up to as far as that's concerned. Tight end play. What's your thoughts there?
Cameron typically might not get that job, you know, and that's not a knock on Jaleel. You're talking about a guy in Cameron Latu that came in as a defensive end and was moved to tight end out of necessity due to injuries, and then didn't catch a pass for his first 2 years at the position. Now he turns around his first 2 catches in a game with touchdowns, finished with 3 catches for 43 yards. He looked very solid, and you know he's a big guy, 6'5", 250. He can block, he can move. But you know I want to see Jaleel get back into that rotation. You know, with Bill Bryan, his history with 2 tight ends, it could be a very formidable duo for Alabama.
Yeah, I think what ended up happening for Alabama, and unfortunate for the rest of college football, is simply the fact, Xavier, that um, Alabama has a player semi or whatever get in trouble, get in the doghouse, and next man up steps up and plays in his first opportunity as well as the guy that he replaced. So that just means that Alabama just found yet another weapon for Bryce Young. We'll finish up the offensive side of the ball in terms of wide receiver play. What's your thoughts there? And then we'll come back, talk a little defense, and then we'll flip the script to talk about Mercer.
Yeah, you're not going to have a Devontae Smith type season this year without injury. So I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. But I think Mechie is going to be a solid number 1 option. He's an easy go-to guy. You know he's going to make the catch. He's able to make plays. And then, of course, Jamison Williams, the Ohio State transfer, is the take the top off type player. He's that Ruggs, Waddle type that we've had for the last few years. So it's exciting to see them as a duo. But Slade Bolden, you know, everybody was questioning, is he going to hold on to his starting spot? How much is he going to play with JoJo Earl coming in? But Slade is consistent. He's going to make the catches. He's going to move the chains. And then I like the potential with the younger guys still, you know, with the Jai Hall, JoJo Earl, Javon Baker, and Trayshawn Holden coming in to be good rotational guys that'll make this unit solid.
Yeah, I think this unit's going to be more than solid, and it'll be interesting to see if Slade can hold off JoJo early, because he showed that he has some wiggle and some explosiveness in him. Of course, Jamison Williams taking the top off, and I mean, he was already moving when he saw that guy with the angle on him. It was obviously a second gear that he kicked it into on that 94-yard touchdown pass. That was probably one of the smoothest 90-plus yard touchdown plays you're gonna see. And it was coming off of an almost safety. And that spoke as much about Bryce Young and his mentality as anything. From one play almost giving up a safety to the next play, stepping back in there, not panicking and hitting a long touchdown. We'll come back and talk a little bit more about the defensive side of the ball, what Alabama has, and we'll get to keys to victory, and we'll get Xavier and Joe's score prediction. We can get your score prediction as well. And time permitting, we'll make a little jaunt around the SEC. Really not a lot of games in the SEC worth talking about this weekend, and we'll see if there's any national games we want to highlight. That conversation and more coming up right here on the Martin Houston Show. We're talking X's and O's with XO Sports Podcast host Xavier Houston.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we start our Friday morning with a bang. Actually, 2 bangs. 2
Playbook at Pearl River Resort. Be more than a fan. Be a player. Must be 21.
Dell's semi-annual sale delivers unmatched productivity and play right now. Save what Dell employees save with 17% off leading XPS and Alienware computers powered by Intel Core processors. Visit Dell.com/semi-annual or call 800-BY-DELL. That's 800-BY-DELL.
Hey, Bama fans, before you head to the stadium to watch the Tide roll, stop by JD's Market and Spirits for all your tailgating needs for Bama football games. Located only 3 blocks from the stadium, JD's offers over 500 liquor items, 400 wine items, and a huge selection of craft, domestic, and imported beers. JD's also has hot dogs, snacks, ice, and game day supplies. Everything you need for tailgating. JD's Market and Spirits, 400 yards from Bryant-Denny Stadium on the west side. Call 722-2113.
The pitch is moving up today.
Antonio's animation studio needs a 3D designer today.
What are we going to do?
Someone who's as artistic as they are organized.
How are we going to get all this done? What about the production schedule?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Screen for quality candidates with the skills your role needs with Indeed assessments. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Another beautiful day today with a good supply of sunshine. Tuscaloosa 85, clear and pleasant tonight, 61. And for the weekend, we stay dry, lots of sunshine tomorrow and Sunday. Highs between 87 and 90 degrees. I'm James Spain on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 61 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophomart Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at sophomart design.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. It is a beautiful Friday morning, and once again, a beautiful day that our Lord has made. Man, let's have a blast today. We got a special day today. Of course, we'll have him joining us on Fridays. That is Xavier Houston. He's my son, but he's starting his own podcast, X's and O's Sports Podcast. And for the old-time Martin Houston Show fans back in the days of the Blitz, you all remember the X's and O's with Xavier, so we decided to bring that back as well. So glad to have him with us. We're talking Miami, Alabama, and of course looking and talking about what can happen with this team moving forward, and we'll look at a little score prediction and thoughts there. But overall, just broke down the offense. Now let's flip over to the other side, to the defense. Alabama has a lot of depth on the defensive line, but a couple guys seem to kind of be the leaders there. What's your assessment of Alabama's defensive line?
Yeah, Phil Mathis definitely seems to be the top dog on that D line. Of course, you have DJ Dale coming back for his third year as a starter at nose tackle. So I think this group is very solid. And as you said, a lot of depth, Tim Smith, Justin
Boygby
is a very solid starter. Byron Young. It's a lot of rotational guys, a lot of guys that you can keep them fresh throughout the course of the game. So it's exciting to see. We might not have the Quentin Williams, Christian Barrymore pass rush out of these guys, but they definitely eat up some blocks for the linebackers.
I think Tim Smith has that type of play, and so it'll be interesting to see if DJ Dale's able to hold him off, because DJ Dale won the job again through the spring and summer, but at the end of last year, Tim Smith was starting to get a little bit more reps, so you don't know if that that'll change or not. But I think he has a little bit of that pass rush aggressiveness. And then, of course, you got LeBron Ray. You hope injuries don't prevent him from getting he's probably one of my disappointments, not in him, but just from a player you really want to see do well. 5-star out of Alabama, athletic enough at one point that they even looked at him at linebacker, but he's a defensive lineman. And so you really hope he can get in there at some point, because I think he can be a difference maker in that D-line position.
Yeah, it's been unfortunate, the injuries he's dealt with over the last 3 years. You know, we thought this guy was going to be a one-year starter and done, and now he's back for his 5th year. So it's heartbreaking because the talent's there. He just can his body hold up.
Yep. Let's kick out to offensive linebackers. One of the groups that had a lot of depth coming in with experienced guys as well as young guys. Of course, the bad news, unfortunately, if that was his last play in the Crimson Tide jersey, it was a big play, a significant play in the game. Chris Allen going down with a fractured foot. Many believe that he'll just, rehab it, get himself in better shape, and head off to the NFL for next year. But what's your assessment of the outside linebacker play?
Yeah, it's heartbreaking to see a guy go down like that, especially on the type of play that he got hurt on. As you said, a strip sack that led to a touchdown for Alabama. But you look at Will Anderson, and there's not going to be many offensive linemen that can block him in this country. You know, it's the blend of his length, his speed, his strength that just makes him a force. You know, I've heard you talk about guys like Derek Thomas, and that's the only thing that I can compare him to from the words that I've heard from you. But I think he'll have another All-American year, which is exciting. Now, is it going to be Drew Sanders? Is it going to be Chris Braswell? It might be Dallas Turner to step up and take that role for Chris Allen. You know, Drew looked good at times during the game. He had a few moments, where he looked a little out of place, but I think that is just going to come with experience. And Braswell looked good subbing in for Sanders and for Anderson. But this week, against Mercer, I think it might be an opportunity for Dallas Turner to potentially really throw his name into the mix for that spot. So this week is a really good week for them to learn and get some experience on the field.
Yeah, of course, this week, this is one of the weeks that you can really neutralize a guy like a Will Anderson. You just a read guy. You make wrong no matter what he does when it comes to his pass rush and reading the ball. You don't throw the ball a lot as a Mercer team to begin with, and then the next thing, of course, you have is you read him on the option when you come to him, and you go away from him on other plays. So it'll be interesting to see how he deals with this triple option threat of Mercer. But definitely Drew Sanders was the next man up. I thought he played well, considering the fact that he probably wasn't expecting to get that many reps. It probably the pound and the exertion he had to put out in that one game probably was more than he had put out in a while. So overall, I think Alabama's good there. Inside linebacker play, I think, which has been the weakness of Alabama football, seems solid. Well, actually above solid. Seemed like the hype is well deserved on the first two inside linebackers, especially.
Yeah, Christian Harris coming back for his 3rd year starting. For him, what happened 2 years ago, last year, is going to be a benefit for Alabama this year. Him having to come in and play as a true freshman when it was unexpected, last minute due to injuries. He's made the most of that opportunity. So it's going to be exciting to see how he goes throughout this season. And then, of course, Henry Toto. He looked good. He's a big hitter, which can be a little bit concerning against some of these better teams we play, because if you don't make the big hit, it might be a missed tackle. But I think he's solid as long as he doesn't try to go in and knock everybody's head off. Our middle linebackers are solid. And then, of course, Jalen Moody coming in later with the interception. You got three guys that can play that position very well.
Yeah, it was good to see Jalen Moody having worked so hard to get to be the starter and then to only lose that job to a guy. Nick Saban said, if we bring in a transfer, we're bringing a transfer in because he's better than the guys we have. Well, at least two of the transfers that proved to be the case in Jamison Williams and Toa. To you, did Toa look like in this new strength and conditioning program that he had slimmed up and got even faster than he played at Tennessee? Or was it just me?
No, you could definitely tell a difference if you go look at his gameplay last year versus just this one game. He didn't look as bulky,
right?
Which is funny because he went from 11, which is a slimming number, to that 0 makes you look. It's supposed to make you look a little wider than you actually are. So he looked good, man. His physical conditioning was definitely on point.
Yeah, and I don't know if you had heard this stat, but they said Dr. Raynham said that Will Anderson from last year to this year, 38%. And I think they use the term velocity when they measure like speed, quickness, power, and all of that. A 38% jump over last year. Which is just unheard of. And you saw that on display with his speed, his quickness, and now I think he even has the ability to bull rush guys, or something he didn't have as a freshman. So he's definitely going to be a game changer. Overall assessment of the defensive backs, safeties, and corners.
Yeah, it was a unusual lineup due to DeMarco Hellens being hurt. Malachi Moore took his spot at safety when he's normally going to be in our slot, which moved Brian Branch into that spot. So it was a different lineup, but Joe looked solid. He's definitely the top corner on this defense. He didn't give up any big plays. He was always around the ball. Jalen Armour Davis looked solid as well. He gave up a couple catches, but nothing crazy. He very, very complete game. I think he's good. I think he has the potential to make it through the season as a starter. I know a lot of people have been saying, can Kool-Aid McKinstry push him for that spot? But he looked good in a game that I heard a lot of people questioning, does he have the ability to play? And of course, like I said, with Malachi Moore playing safety, he looked very solid. Jordan Battle, he's the head honcho of the secondary in that safety spot where he makes all their calls. So I think the secondary has a chance to be good. Yes, when Helms come back and Moore come back, can they gel as that cohesive unit?
Yeah, without a doubt, I thought the DBs overall played well. I thought Davis had a really, really good game for his first start. And considering sometimes guys play tight when they have a guy that's right on their heels, nipping at their heels, but he played relaxed and did a really good job. I thought they picked on Malachi a little bit more than you would think with him coming off. I'm still not sure he's 100% back. He kind of seemed out of sorts, and so it was good to see him finally make a positive play. And of course, I think the officials missed a pass interference that gave up the one passing touchdown.
He pushed Branch right in the face.
Yeah, so I thought that was a bad missed call. Real quick, what's your overall grade for the defense, and then I'll get your overall grade for the offense.
Definitely an A+ for the defense. Gave up 13 points, but 3 turnovers, 4 or 5 sacks. Played as a cohesive unit for their first game with a lot of new parts.
Yeah. So you giving the defense and Pete Golding an A+? Are you on the Pete Golding train yet?
I like Pete. He's gotten a lot of hate over the last couple of years, but he's had a lot of injuries to deal with over that span of time. to key players that I think would have made a difference on the defense. You know, Dylan Moses tearing his ACL, then playing with a knee injury last year. That really changed the outlook of the defense for the last couple of years.
Yeah, and of course, when you start Shane Lee and Chris Allen is true freshman, and Shane Lee as an upperclassman can't break above the third level on the depth chart. So that probably tells you a lot about where he's at. What's your first thoughts on Bill O'Brien? Loving the way he called the game and feeling good about him moving forward.
Oh, definitely. He was very, very good play calls. But it's easy to have good play calls sometimes when you have the talent that you have on the offensive side of the ball. Especially with Bryce, he makes things a lot easier for a lot of coordinators. But no, I think he called a very good game. It'll be interesting to see going back to the running back position. It looks like we're more back to that platoon style running back system this year compared to how it was Najee then Brian last year, with a clear distinction in who was the number one and who was the number two. But I want to see how it is in these games, starting maybe next week with Ford or whoever, where the defense is a little bit better, how they rotate those guys. Because if one guy gets the hot hand, are you going to rotate?
Yeah, absolutely. And will they rotate? We won't really be able to judge much by this week's game, but we'll definitely watch how they use the backs in this game. But next week against Florida, that'll be a huge sign of where Alabama feels and who they feel is their best five on the O-line, their best defense, their best running backs. We'll get a real taste for that next week as Florida. Come back on the other side. We'll start talking about Bama and Mercer. What's the keys to victory for the Alabama Crimson Tide? That conversation coming up next. Hey, don't forget, you can get your score prediction in, and the rushing yards for the running backs. That platoon of running backs is the tiebreaker.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, got a couple of wrecks on the interstate, both headed toward Mercedes, one at mile marker 80, the other at mile marker 82. You can expect major delays along the interstate. If you see other conditions, give us a call. Townsend Nissan has an amazing selection of new cars, trucks, SUVs with low finance rates and super rebates. They'll save you a bundle. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard, right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
Don't miss a play at the Sportsbook at Pearl River Resort. Your front row seat to all the action. Place bets on all professional and most college sports at the counter, kiosk, or on your phone. Then catch the game on one of our 20 big screens from the comfort of the newly remodeled Timeout Lounge. Plus, the PRR Sports app gives you access to live, in-play sports betting. Sportsbook at Pearl River Resort. Be more than a fan. Be a player. Must be 21.
1225 Sports Bar is the place to be on the Strip for your ultimate game day experience. 1225 Sports Bar is located 2 blocks from Bryant-Denny Stadium. Come meet our staff and enjoy some great food and drinks. 1225 is your new way to game day. With high-def TVs, along with 5 VIP sections available with dedicated servers, security, and bottle service, we're 1225, your utmost game day destination for entertainment, food, and spirits. Get all the details and make reservations at the1225.com or call us at 205-872-1225.
Calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show, kicking off the second half of today's program. We got X and O Sports podcast host Xavier Houston with us on this beautiful Friday, reminding you to make sure you get your predictions in. We'd love to hear from you. We're getting ready to transition into a little Mercer conversation. What's Alabama's keys to victory? I think we can find a little bit of that out, Joe, by seeing Nick Saban talked a little bit Wednesday about a bad practice on Monday and leadership. Let's hear what Coach Nick Saban had to say about that and talk about why a game like Mercer that we obviously will win, should win going away, but why it has some importance. Here's Coach Nick Saban talking about the bad practice on Monday.
Well, we'll see. You know, I mean, that's what I want to see. I want to see, do we have leadership? Do we get people to respond? Do people care enough to understand what we have to do to maintain our intensity for 60 minutes in the game, to improve as a team, to do the things that we need to do to improve as a team, to have the mindset that we need to have? You know, we got some guys that are, you know, they're doing the right things. We got, and they're trying to set a good example, and they're trying to pull other guys along. But we also have other guys that, you know, need to pick it up and understand what it takes to practice, what it takes to prepare. You know, some people have the idea that exertion through the course of the week some kind of way impairs your ability to play on Saturday. But really, you got to have exertion through the week to be ready to play on Saturday. And the key to that is, how do you take care of yourself? How do you recover? How do you sleep? How do you hydrate? How do you use the Sports Science Center and all the technology we have to help guys recover so that you're going to be good on Saturday? So I think, you know, we got some guys that got it backwards. We're trying to get them fixed.
That's Coach Nick Saban. Hey, Joe, you'll love this. When I was coming along, all of that stuff he named, hydrate and fuel up and Science Center, and it was, hey, Martin, go to bed, get up, drink your water. Those guys do have a lot on them, Joe, to be ready. And that's why weeks like this are important in terms of what happened. But the football has really changed at the collegiate level under Coach Nick Saban.
Oh yeah, he's taken over and really reinventing the approach to the game, and he's proving that his reinvention is successful with what he's done for the last 14, 15 years.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to think about. They have the science technology. They have a nutrition bar. They have hydration, stations. The cafeteria is actually physically at the football building, so they don't have to worry about guys going back and not going to the dorm. They actually can see them and make sure they're eating, hydrating, etc. But I think the biggest thing, Xavier, in a game like this that Nick Saban talked about, he said guys have it reversed. They think that, hey, this game is not going to be that big a deal, so I can take off this week and still be able to play well. I think one of the biggest things from this is you have to learn how to motivate yourself internally versus external motivations.
Yeah, definitely. When you look at games like this, it's a momentum builder. It's a confidence booster for some of those guys who might not get to play a lot. So you see the older guys, the starters, kind of go, well, I'm only going to get to play 3 or 4 drives a quarter, maybe the halftime if I'm lucky. So they don't take it as serious. But if you slap this week, how are you supposed to? You think you can just automatically get yourself back up because it's Florida next week or Auburn the week after that, whoever the big game is? You can't let your intensity drop just because of your opponent.
And that's what
injuries happen, upsets, all those types of things.
Yeah, and that's what he talked about when he said that every external factor that he tries to prevent, this team suffered from in week 1. Scoreboard against Miami, where they only played a half. Of course, in the second half, I think we still won. It would just been by 1 point. But anyway, you have that situation in terms of what happened from a external scoreboard. He's talked about the media impact. He talked about the opponent being Mercer, and all of those were external factors. And so what I think he's trying to do is get this team ready to play themselves, where they are driven to be the best they can be, not based on literally who's on the schedule. And I think he saw a huge drop off, or he knew that he had the potential to see that drop off, and knew that if you don't build on this week, then you can't get it back. Hey, we got a caller. Let's bring in Super Joe. Super Joe, you're in with the Martin Houston Show and Xavier Houston with XO Sports. Super Joe? Super Joe.
Joe, I'll put you on. It's like he's gone.
Well, Super Joe needs to understand that when he calls in, he has things up, Joe, more than any caller I have. He must have a small window that when he calls in, that if I don't get him on, he's gone. So we're Super Joe, we love to hand on the conversation. We'll work you in if and when you call back. But Xavier, let's pick up a couple quick things before we go to break, and then we'll talk on the other side about what we have coming up in terms of this weekend. What's Alabama's 1 or 2 keys to victory this week, Joe? And Joe, I want your thoughts as well.
I think just being consistent, like Coach Saban said, don't let this go to your head because of who the opponent is. You need to play consistent every week. So I think that's the biggest thing, is not letting your head get big, being consistent no matter who you're playing with the same level of intensity. And it's hard to say what's a key to this game.
Well,
besides being, just playing at the same level, no matter who's on the other sideline.
Yeah, I think I probably should ask it a different way. What does Alabama want to accomplish in this game?
Definitely coming out healthy, of course, but just improving on the little things is what would probably be the biggest thing for this week. All those little mistakes that were made last week, can you improve on it when the opponent isn't something?
Okay. Joe, what's your thoughts on what Alabama needs to accomplish through this game?
Oh, Mark, I haven't been able to get up for this game at all because I feel like it's why are we even playing the team like this? What do we need to do? Xavier's exactly right. Stay healthy, and I think that's a really lame goal when you go into a week because you know you're going to win. What I'd like to see them do is throw all the third stringer out there and say, "Best of luck. You're getting your snaps today." Exactly right. Focusing on the little things, probably a little crisper offensive line play. Coach Saban is going to want to see the second, third, and fourth stringers play with an edge that maybe they lost in the second half of that Miami game. Really, just maintaining that edge for 60 minutes.
Of course, Auburn is starting off, their seasons with like Akron and Alabama State, and so coaches are used to playing these types of games. in a game like this, to me, you're not really the opponent never should be your focus, but especially in a game like this, you could beat this team by 35 points and get worse as a football team. And so I think Coach Saban wants to make sure that X's and O's literally are crisp, that they're sound, and that they get better. And the things that they identified in last week's game, Joe and Xavier, that they need to improve upon, whatever those things are, then they have to make sure that those things happen this week. In other words, if they identified, some things that are a little off with the way the running backs are hitting the holes, hitting their tracks, or maybe the way the O-line blocked, or maybe the run fits for the linebackers, or maybe the DBs when they're switching players or transitioning in coverage. Those are the types of things that they probably have a whole list of. These are the things we have to do, and they know that if they do those things, they got better as a football team if they take care of their other business. So I think that's what they're going to be looking for. We'll come back on the other side. We'll get predictions, and we'll encourage you right now. Right now, we like to get your predictions as well. But come back on the other side. We'll get Xavier's predictions as well as Joe's on Alabama versus Mercer.
100.9 traffic.
From the town's Center got a couple of wrecks, both headed toward Mercedes, one at mile marker 80, the other at mile marker 82. You can expect major delays along the interstate. If you see conditions, give us a call. Townsend Nissan has an amazing selection of new cars, trucks, and low finance rates and super rebates. They'll send you a bundle. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Friday morning. A man died in Walker County last night after falling from a boat in the Smith Lake. 80-year-old Neil Lee Monroe of Briarfield was riding in that boat as it was being backed into the water. When he fell overboard, he was not able to swim back to shore. His body was recovered. The gender of the average college is changing. Almost 60% of college students nationwide are female. UA is pretty close, 56% female.
With the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about custom curbing can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing helps with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, LLC.
Indeed helps you hire great people fast. Indeed delivers 4 times more hires than all other job sites combined, according to Talent Nest. Visit Indeed.com.
Xavier. Xavier. Hello.
Uh, 56-3 for Xavier on the prediction for the game. Martin, welcome back in. I'm gonna get Xavier back in. What do you think about for a prediction for today's game?
Woo, man. It's kind of scary on picking these types of games because you just don't know what the offensive production is going to be and how long they're going to be in there. But I have Alabama being able to have success both with the first and second, third group. So I have them getting in the 55 range. So I have them 55 I'm debating between 7 and 10. So I'm going to go with 10 just to be safe. So 55-10 is what I have for Alabama. So
I think that's going to be. I think that's that'll be a pretty good score. I don't think Alabama. I think a lot of people are going to expect Alabama to get way up there, but once we put in Paul Tyson, Jalen Milroe, and get the backup in there, I think things will slow down a little bit.
Yeah, and I think they'll probably go over the 300 yard. I mean, 300 yards is a lot of yards rushing, and you need long fields to get that. And I don't think they're going to give us enough field, so probably going to get back at a higher level. Have we been able to add Xavier back?
No, hold on.
Okay, all right.
Try that. How you doing, Xavier? You back with us? I think he's back with us, Martin. Go ahead.
Xavier, are you back with us?
Oh, he's still working his way back into the call. You got about 3 minutes left if you want to wrap this bad boy up and get us set up for Saturday.
Yeah. Well,
you join me tomorrow on Tide Tailgate Show?
Huh?
You be joining me tomorrow with the Tide Tailgate Show?
Well, maybe. I don't know, man. What time is that?
We're starting at 10 a.m. 10 to noon right here on Tide 100.9. 10 to noon will carry you all the way up to Crimson Tide Sports Network live coverage of their pregame show. And then we'll have a little Eli Gold action and Alabama Mercer. We'll do some Crimson Tide postgame show. And then right here on Tide 109 and 95.3 The Bear as well, we'll have our own Tide postgame show.
That is definitely the plan. So I just think it. Xavier, are you back? Can you hear us? Can't get him back there. So we'll catch up with him and find out. And we'll make it all work. But as far as the game is concerned, the Alabama, just as you say, Joe, and you hate to say it, you just hope Alabama gets out without any major injuries or any season-ending injuries or anything like that. they'll take care of their business. They'll be able to take care of everything they need to take care of. So as we wrap up the Martin Houston Show, I want to thank you so much for being a part of the program. Always reminding you that we do this each and every day right here on Tide 100.9 on the Martin Houston Show from 6 to 7. So give us a call in and every time on that Taco Casa hotline. Also, remember this: trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding. All your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide.